Okay, day 138, part 2, the Awan Brotherhood. So lots of things have happened today. The first thing is Preet Bharara, the district attorney of New York that was driving by the Clinton Foundation every day and looking the other way, looking at the pigeons on the other side of the street. He's now been asked to resign, so that's good news because maybe the new DA will look into the Hillary situation with the $2 billion that she received from foreign governments. And also, I would like to dedicate this to the heroes of this investigation, which is the NYPD detectives. So if you'd forward this on to them, this is the boys or Royce, I can't remember his name. These are the folks that did the work, and not the counterterrorism division of the FBI that tried to crush them and threaten them and retire them and destroy justice like Andrew McCabe did with the JTTF coming down on the NYPD. And then the other folks I want to give a shout out to is True Pundit. These are a lot of the people from True Pundit, I don't know if people know, come from the intelligence community, and they're kind of unusual in that sense. And they just had a recent row with BuzzFeed, and BuzzFeed did a big hit article on them. And the CEO of True Pundit came out and just had a great rejoinder. He said, look, BuzzFeed, they were the ones who did the fake Trump stories and so forth. BuzzFeed took 4 years and, I think it was like something like $20 to $30 million of promotion to get to the same numbers True Pundit got to in 5 months organically. Because when you do great journalism, people beat a path to your door. So anyway, enough plug on that. But Hillary needs to answer not only for the ties to the Muslim Brotherhood and giving them Stinger missiles and sarin gas, but also giving the Awan brothers and the Gulen movement the most deadly cyber weapons that could literally take down our country. And this is the deep state. I'm sorry, but this is the deep state. I know people are saying that's conspiracy theory, but it's not actually. It's the truth. So here's from the actual Imran Awan's webpage. There was four Awan brothers and two wives. And it says, "We are the Awans. We break bones, not hearts." This is from his webpage. The Awans is kind of like this loose association of terrorists and policing through this. The police and political party is PSP, and then the terrorist part is SSP, and it's in the same description of his father, Muhammad Shah. So how Imran Awan has a father named Shah, I think proves my point that the Awans is more of a kind of a general call to arms kind of name, like Braverman is for Israelis, Awans is for Pakistanis. Anyway, there's a lot of militant. If you look at Imran's webpage, one of the four Awan brothers that's in the Debbie Wasserman Schultz scandal, you'll see all this radical Islamic terrorism, all this murder and so forth. They imprisoned their stepmother into a house in Springfield, Virginia. They hacked her phone. So they were obviously ISI. They were trained by the ISI is the Pakistani CIA. And as soon as she finally called the police, the brothers grabbed the computer of their father, and they grabbed a bunch of computers from the house, the Capitol Hill, the House IT department, and they fled to Pakistan. So if you're not guilty, why are you fleeing to Pakistan? So here's the article. There's several articles here. Democrats fire 2 staffers in criminal investigation. Democrats probe for theft working for New York congressmen. There's thefts involved here of classified information. The Awan brothers worked for 31 different Democrats. There was 20 burglaries. When they hightailed it to Pakistan, there was 20 burglaries out of these 31 Democrats they worked for. Not only were they funneled $5 million in their time working for the House, making 2.5 to 3 times what normal congressional staffers made, but there was these burglaries when they decided to leave, when they decided to vamoose. Not only did they get information for 12 years or 13 years from the 3 most sensitive intelligence committees in the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Homeland Security, and Foreign Affairs, they kept their own server. This is the same Hillary and Huma story. They had their own server. So what I say is, let's, instead of having the Capitol Police research this case, this international conspiracy spy ring, and the Capitol Police with one person with, one bullet in the gun, the Barney Fife thing, let's have the FBI investigate this. Let's get the phone records and the server logs and find out where they were day to day. Let's get the cameras of the data center and find out when they went into the data centers. This is law enforcement 101. Everyone's talking about this Trump server. The server was actually in Pennsylvania, and it was communicating with this Alpha Bank. And I talked earlier about this tool that was released by the CIA, which WikiLeaks has talked about in the Vault 7 release, which is called Umbrage, which can create Russian footprints. Let's just leave it at that. And I still say the Spectrum Health is going to be where all the hacking activity has occurred. And you're going to find out that Kurt Bildt, the guy from NATO, who has a lot of contacts in terms of the cyber hacking, is going to be the one who orchestrated this at Alpha Bank. And I would say the English University right now, where it was orchestrated, but I'm not going to. Anyway, these numerous people came from Pakistan and were put up at this safe house that Imran Khan ran. This is in Lorton, Lorton, Virginia. This is the Hawkshead Drive location. Expert after expert is being brought in, and they're all in these technologies of hacking. This is a cell phone hacker, but you're going to find other people on server hacking, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a profusion of evidence. As I mentioned before, you don't need to go to a FISA court to get a warrant if you're Loretta Lynch, if you have the Awan brothers. So I wanted to mention also, before I go too much further, Brett Baier covered this story today, so it is starting to go to mainstream. So I'm just saying that's encouraging. When you do forward these stories, they are getting picked up in the main news. Graham Fuller here is the one who designed the program for the Mujahideen to bring down the Soviet Union. It worked great. But then he turned around and said, well, we should use the Mujahideen to go after all these the edge countries of the Soviet Union, the 5 stands and the 1 John, Azerbaijan and the 5 stands surrounding the Soviet Union. That was great. But then he made the fatal decision to use the Gulen and Muslim Brotherhood plan to infiltrate North America. And that's where things really start going south. So what you're seeing is these CIA teachers that they used to use in Central Asia. These were basically CIA operatives. They had diplomatic passports, which is your first clue that they're agents. Now these CIA agents, beginning in about 2006, are flooding into the United States. They're flooding into Texas and then other states in the Midwest. But Texas was kind of their first landing base in Rice University, University of Houston, so forth. These are the orchestrators. These are the orchestrators of rat lines. These are the IT supply chain orchestrators of rat lines. They're the rat lines of kids, the sex trafficking, the rat lines of drug trafficking, and the rat lines of organ harvesting. This is the Gulen movement. Mike Flynn told Erdogan that Gulen was going to do a coup. I mean, this is going to come out. It hasn't come out yet, but that's why he was paid the $500,000. Compare this $500,000 to the $675,000 that Andrew McCabe, the assistant or the deputy director at the FBI, was paid to sit on the Huma server investigation, to sit on the Awan server investigation, and sit on the Hillary investigation. Again, long history with the Awan Amjad with BCCI, funneling drugs through Pakistan all the way through Turkey to Europe, and now directly through Mexico and the southern South America and Central America, funneling that through NAFTA into the United States. And it's not me saying this. He was well known. He was convicted. Awan Amjad was convicted working with Mark Rich. He is the architect, along with Ollie North and George Bush, of Iran-Contra. So is Grant Fuller, by the way. So these Democrats, for some reason, are pursuing this. They're hitting the gas pedal to going toward the brick wall. And I do not know why Jackie Spear and Deborah Wasserman Schultz want to investigate Trump on this Russian hoax, because it's going to bring this whole Awan thing to a head. Again, criminal connections. The Awan brothers, criminal connections to Hezbollah, double agents. There's going to be connections to the Russian ambassador for Iran nuclear deal negotiations, and also for the uranium deal in Russia. So again, they're speeding toward the brick wall as fast as they possibly can. Here are the three Awan brothers. We still don't have pictures of Abid. We still don't have pictures of Jamal. In any investigation, you would want to publish the pictures so that the public could help. Now they're all in Pakistan, so maybe this is a moot point. But here again, they're being paid 2.5 to 3 times congressional medians, and so is the wife. She's also being paid 2.5 times the medians. There's these fake car dealerships. Also, Omar Awan is involved in these as well, and he's the one that nobody's talking about yet. And he's married to Natalia Sova, who is paid 4 times what you would be paid in the Congress. So again, sorry, Andrew McCabe still is gotten paid more than Mike Flynn. Mike Flynn had $530,000. Andrew McCabe got $675,000 to sit on the Hillary, Huma, and Awan server investigation. At least Preet Bharara is out of it now. If you want to recuse yourself from these investigations, Mr. McCabe, that would be the best thing you could do. The next best thing you could do is publish the metadata so we could see the connection between the Awan servers and Hillary and Huma servers. Remember, here we go. I talked about Mike Flynn a long time. I knew that was going to come up, so it came. It's kind of fun when the news kind of comes to you versus the other way around. And I'll just leave this today to say NYPD detectives, at NYPD detectives, please forward it to them. And then True Pundit, one of the great new news outlets on the scene.